All right, we'd like to welcome you and thank you for coming to this press conference for the multi-jurisdictional task force, crime reduction task force. About this time last year, we experienced a significant increase in fatalities on Interstate 45 as a result of DWI. These constables, the Sheriff's Department, and the District Attorney wanted to ensure that we did not have a repeat of the increase in crime that we faced last year during the summer. So I want to thank all the constables, the District Attorney, and Sheriff Tommy Gage for coming up with this idea and supporting the Crime Reduction Task Force of Montgomery County. I'd like to turn it over to Constable Hayden for some brief words.
As Warren said, this is a multifaceted crime task force. Our focus is to reduce the crime rate here in Montgomery County as a whole. We've brought together multi-agencies to try to combat that. As you can see, we have someone representing every agency here that's going to be involved.
Constable, tell us about it. What was it like last year? What was the problem?
Well, as Warren said, we had an increase in fatality accidents on the freeways. That'll be one of our primary focuses, as well as criminal interdiction on the highways.
Is that summer vacation, school out? Do you have any idea what caused it?
The summer vacation time, school being out, just more traffic on the highways in general.
How can you get parents involved when it comes to young people in the community, those who may get involved with drinking and driving or even drugs during the summer break?
Well, naturally, we hope that parents are involved already with their children and knowing where what they're doing, where they're at, making sure they're home by a certain hour. So we naturally hope that parents are doing their job as parents.
What are some of the biggest issues out there that you see when school is out, when young people, and what are you targeting here? Two-part question.
Yeah, like I said, our main focus here is just a general crime reduction in general. With the summertime, more traffic on the highways, more holidays, summer-related holidays. You're going to see an increase in drinking and driving, people vacationing, having more people on the roadways.
And how soon will this effort begin?
We're going to start this week. This will be it won't be times, there'll be certain areas in the county, certain days of the week that this task force will rotate to.
And what will we see in the show of force out there?
You'll have anywhere from 10 to 20 additional officers that'll be focusing on certain areas. For instance, next week we may be focusing in the Precinct 4 area. The following week we could be in the Magnolia area. So it'll be like I said, a multi-agency task force. You'll have different uniforms, different vehicles from all over the counties focusing on one specific area in the county.
Can you explain it? I think he asked this earlier, but give me a clear picture of what you saw last year at this time around the county.
I'll refer that back to Warren.
Okay.
He has more of a county-wide impact. At this time, Captain Pullen, you want to come up and say something?
Yeah,
His fault, he kicked him off.
All of the agencies represented here have a proactive units that conduct different DWI, whether it be criminal interdiction, targeted patrol in high crime areas. And this operation is designed to bring us all together and put our efforts as one. And I think you'll see that by doing so, you'll see higher visibility of law enforcement from multiple agencies. That not only affects the targeted crimes that we're looking for, as stated in the press release by Mr. DuPron, but just the visibility alone will deter crimes in other areas. That's not the primary focus of the operation. I've always said this, that neither agency working alone is as effective as all the agencies working together. And what you're seeing here today is resemblant of that. We want to make a difference, and we're going to make a difference, and it starts this week. That's about all I have.
And can you say your full name and rank for the camera?
Kevin Pullen, captain over the patrol of the Sheriff's Office.
Kevin, spell it, please.
Pullen.
wrong, and you misspelled Bob.
Spelled DeProm too, so.
Yeah, you want to clear that up while you're up there, Mike?
Right. It's Warren DeProm, DIEPRAAM. And I realize I'm not a fixture on local TV, so. Any individual group of law enforcement officers together can be effective in maintaining law and order in their particular jurisdiction. But what's so unique about this group, as Constable Hayden said, and what Captain Pullen said, is that it's a unique group effort that is not going to wait for the crime to occur. It's going to get out there and try to make a difference on our streets to protect the public and to make sure that we don't have any tragedies on our roadways, on our streets, our waterways, or anywhere where crime may occur. So unlike an individual task force that responds to drug interdiction or DWI interdiction, this group of law enforcement officers is basically multifaceted. There's going to be specialists for drug interdiction, specialists for DWI, specialists for domestic violence, or whatever crime we happen to see a spike in being committed during the summer. The summer months see a significant increase in crimes in Montgomery County and also across the nation. So this is a very good timing for this group, sponsored by the constables and the sheriff, to come together. For instance, vehicular crimes, which would be DWIs and fatalities, increased last year from about 220 individual instances during the cooler months like April or May, increased significantly to about 275 to 280 during the summer months. And we all know about the horrible tragedies that we had on Interstate 45. Thefts, shoplifting cases also increased from an average of about 54 during the cooler months to an average of about 90 during the summer months, with shoplifting increases, robberies, all of those increasing as well. Assaults, domestic violence, the exact same number of increases during the summer months. So rather than sit back and wait for something to happen, this group of proactive and creative law enforcement officers is getting together to cover the county and to cover the area to prevent crime from occurring. That's our primary goal, is a safe and a responsible county with no crimes and no tragedies this particular summer. So this group is going to focus on boating while intoxicated, assault, domestic violence, drug dealing, drug arrests, burglary, DWI, drug interdiction. Also, from last summer, we started the Bars and Cars Task Force with liquor violations because we quickly figured out what was causing the fatalities. Now we've got a group of officers that are going to be proactive and stop the crime before it happens with this task force. The participating agencies are Constable Chumley from Precinct 1, from Constable 2, Precinct Jean DeForest, from Precinct 3, Constable Ryan Gable, from Precinct 4, Constable Rowdy Hayden, and from Precinct 5, Constable David Hill. Lastly, the sheriff, Tommy Gage, and of course, last but not least, District Attorney Brett Ligon will be participating in this particular. All these agencies will be participating in this task force. Roughly 2, 3, 4 nights a week, whatever the agencies can spare to get out there on the roads to make a difference. And just as Captain Pullen indicated, because of the high visibility enforcement of this group, we hope that it will have a deterrent effect on crime in general in Montgomery County. We are now entering what's known as the 100 deadliest days of the year, and study after study backs that up. In fact, crime is related. People who commit domestic violence, people who commit child porn, they're often under the influence of drugs. People who are under the influence of drugs, more than 50% of them, from one local study admitted to the local jails, were under the influence of drugs and or alcohol when they committed their crime. So by focusing on all these different crimes, we hope to make a difference this summer and prevent death, destruction, and tragedy in Montgomery County. A couple of studies that I referred to as historical, I'll pass out with some of the documents that I'll email to you guys. I've got some rough drafts today if y'all want a copy, but I can email to all of your to all of your news desks some updated studies and research and some of these particular crime numbers that we're focusing on and why I think this group is going to be so successful in preventing crime, not just responding to it. So if there are any questions, gentlemen, I'd be happy to try to answer them at this point.
What about during the summertime? You get a lot of the kids racing, a lot of the mama bought a new car for graduation, they're out there racing, drag racing on their highways, also the motorcycles, the way they're kicking in.
Unfortunately, this is the time of year where racing cases, negligent homicides, manslaughter cases increase significantly. Most of the fatalities caused in our county and also in southeast Texas are caused by youthful people, generally people under the age of 25. In fact, vehicular crimes is the #1 cause of death in Montgomery County and also for underage individuals. So this group, with the focus on traffic safety and enforcement on our freeways and roadways, hopes to put a dent in those particular crimes and make sure that we don't have a repeat of news stories for you guys because there was a fatality on Montgomery County roadways.
I'll touch a little bit on the racing bit. I mean, kids racing, something like, what can actually happen to the vehicle if they are caught with the evading and basically racing on the highway?
This task force is coming together for multiple reasons, and one of the district attorney's strong beliefs is that he would rather have the criminal pay for their crime. So we have a aggressive and creative forfeiture policy in Montgomery County, Texas, where if a person commits a crime that's a felony involving racing or a fatality or an evading in a motor vehicle or delivering or dealing in large amounts of drugs, Texas law authorizes the seizure of that person's property, including their vehicle. That is a part of this particular group, that if the law is met and these offenders are subject to asset forfeiture of the instrument that they used in the commission of a crime, the district attorney's office and these gentlemen with these constables agencies, we will attempt to seize that property so that the criminal pays for their conduct, not the taxpayers.
You mentioned that there would be several areas that you focus on. Will it be, say, on a Tuesday night, just DWI or everything each night that you go out there?
The general theory behind the group is that we're responsive to everything. However, the #1 crimes in our county are drug use, drug dealing, and DWI. So at any particular point in time, that's how we find most of our crimes, is by looking for these individuals. So the high visibility with these marked patrol cars on the streets should deter a lot of crime, but that's how we get to the other crimes, is to go after these people. So primarily, that will be our focus.
Do you think people in the county are getting the message? Because it seems like every year we go through it once again. How do you make sure they get the message that you're out there and you're going to be waiting and looking for?
Yeah, I think definitely people are getting the message. Thanks to Constable Chumley, Texas Parks and Wildlife, and the district attorney, Lake Conroe has gone from one of the deadliest lakes in the state to one of the safest because of the district attorney's no refusal program. We are a growing county. We're one of the fastest growing counties in the nation, and we're now the 11th largest county in the state. So our crime reduction efforts are making a difference, but there's going to be crime. So our purpose is to get out there, respond to it, and to try to prevent as much of it as possible. Our general fatal crash numbers in terms of intoxication manslaughters have been reduced by almost 70% because of people like these officers who get on the streets and do their enforcement. So what we hope to do with this task force is to expand upon that and to make our county even safer.
What's the public's role in this as responsibility?
The public's role in this is to make sure, just like Constable Hayden said, that parents are aware of what their children are doing. A person who is not aware of what their child is doing is facing some potential problems because their kids may be out drinking, kids may be out doing drugs. You've got to get interactive with your kids, interactive with the internet, interactive with the media to make sure that you communicate with your kids and your family. In addition, what we hope to do in the future as school goes back is to get into the schools with these law enforcement groups. Many of these constables work security in the schools. We hope to get into the schools and to educate the students and the teaching professionals about the dangers that the kids face on the streets, because they are the #1 reason for the increase of these crimes, but they're also the #1 victims of these crimes.
Obviously, budgets are tight, so where do you find the money to bring this group together and do this with on the streets of Montgomery County?
The budgets are, of course, tight, but we've been very fortunate that these constables, the sheriff, and the district attorney have been able to flex their time and rotate schedules so that this group is a a success. Also, because of Tech Stock grants, the district attorney's no refusal program will be supporting these officers on the streets with judges, prosecutors, and extra police officers.
All I've got.
Good. 45 going on, so in terms of taking pictures, you guys will also be doing work on 59.
Yeah, actually, we're the beauty. Okay.
That would be representative.
And if y'all need any cars, I'm sure Constable A would be happy to let you drive one.
Not too bad, I guess, could you have?